Nathan, a 3-1 win over Stevenage in the Carabao Cup. What did you make of today?
Yeah, look, happy within the hat, which is the main thing. We wanted to win the game. It was a makeshift team because we made 11 changes, which shows the strength of the squad. Stevenage have started the season really well. Always a tough game against those. But no, look, I'm really happy. A lot of positives from the night, and as I said, the majority of the ones that needed minutes got minutes, and that was really important. So we've come through the game without an injury. We've won the game. And I've seen a lot in some of the young players. So look, a good night all round.
Speaking of the young players, the first professional goal for Ibrahim Fuller in his first professional start. What did you make of his progress so far?
Well, I'll tell you one thing: won't be his last. That's one thing's for sure. Look, the kid's a fantastic footballer. His energy, his quality, he's confident. He's not a wing back, but we asked him to do a job, and he does a job anyway, in terms of that. So it's. I'm really proud of him because I know what type of footballer he is, and I know where that kid's career is going if he just is sensible and keeps working hard. But delighted for him, And look, a lot of them we saw what Alan Mwamba can do as well. Obviously, we've played, Kai's played, and so has Henry Ryler. But I'm really excited about Alan and Ibby because I think they can make the step up very quickly.
Miles Leaburn and Luke Berry also found the net. How pleased were you to see those two on the score sheet?
Well, I thought Miles was excellent. Luke Berry's done that for me all the time, in terms of arriving in the box, in terms of being clinical, scoring goals. That's what he does. And I thought, look, we could have been a little bit more clinical first half. Tanto had a glorious opportunity where he dwelt and he thought too much, and then that could have really put the game to bed. You 3 up at half time. That's the game to bed. But at 2-0, it's always a tricky thing. So it was important we got that third goal. I'm disappointed with the goal we conceded because we didn't stop the cross, and then we weren't aware of the runner coming in, and then they scored, and they did enough to probably get a goal, but I was just disappointed with certain aspects of our professionalism. Really, we should have put the game to bed right for half time, and then look, I want us to defend certain situations better. But look, I'm delighted. I would have taken any win tonight, and the important thing was to win and to not get any injuries for those who needed minutes, and we did that.
You mentioned minutes, chance to get minutes into some of those new signings. How vital is that at this stage?
Well, it is, because Nibs and Kelman. The transfer was such a protracted those transfers were so protracted. They didn't train, they didn't play for their respected clubs all through pre-season. So we are getting them up to speed, and we managed to do that tonight along with Luke Berry. So that's important, and that was the main thing tonight.
A second win of the season, a second win here of the season as well. How important is that winning mentality?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we want to win football games. We don't like losing. Losing creates a bit of confusion, a thought process. Tonight we've mixed the team up. We've seen people like Zach Mitchell, people like Henry Ryler, and all the young ones that we've played tonight, and they've stepped up and acquitted themselves really well. I was very proud of the experienced ones tonight because I thought Macca was excellent, Alex Mitchell was excellent. Will Manning didn't do anything wrong, and then Joe and Karoy in midfield sort of did their job. So I was. It was a decent night tonight. I'm not getting carried away with it because I thought we could have been more fluent at times. I thought we could be more clinical at times. But look, you come up against a tough side, and Stevenage is never an easy game we've shown over the years, and I've seen being at previous clubs. So I'm just really happy to be in the hat and for everyone to have come through the game.
Into the second round of the competition, will you be keeping an eye on the draw tomorrow?
Well, yeah, God willing, in terms of everything. But it's, I don't know who comes into it these days all the time because there's the Club World Cup and these don't come in, these come in. So, look, it'd be nice for a big draw because it gives the fans something to really get behind.
And away from the game today, news that James Brain has moved to Sunderland and Danny Hilton will take up the role of set-piece coach. What can you tell us about that?
Look, we wish James all the best. I mean, James came to us, as we've already put a statement, James came as an individual development coach. We saw stuff in him that we promoted him, and he'd never done the role before, so he acquitted himself very well. He was a really diligent worker and a real big part of the staff, and we wish him all the best. But that's why we gave Dan the role and the job. We've been earmarking Dan for a coaching role, and we feel he can step up exactly how James Brain stepped up. So It's not like we've brought in James a specialist and think we educated James in terms of that, and we're going to educate Danny to do exactly the same.
Attention now turns to Bristol City on Saturday. What sort of test will they pose?
Championship test, exactly the same as they had a fantastic win on the weekend. So it's going to be a real tough game. Different game to tonight, obviously, but it'll be a very, very tough game. We know that it's a championship game. So if you want me to keep repeating myself, every championship game is going to be extremely tough, and we've got to be the best version of ourselves, and that's what we're going to do tonight. We've managed to rest a lot tonight in preparation for that, so we can prep properly on Thursday, and we'll be looking forward to the game.
Thanks, Nathan. Well done.